Hello and welcome to Fit and Fabulous at Any Age. Welcome back. Today I am hosting with Coach Dakota, Coach Camille, and Coach Amanda. I am Brooklyn. I am the founder of Fierce Queen Fitness. And today we are going to be diving into a fun subject: how we've lost the fat and kept it off all year, every year, even through the holidays while still enjoying holiday goodies. So before we dive in, I'm just going to have quickly, because I don't think we did this last time. Dakota, Camille, Amanda, why don't you guys just briefly give a little like intro who you are and yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Dakota. I coach with Fierce Queen Fitness. I've been coaching with Fierce Queen Fitness almost 3 years now. It's crazy. It's flown by fast. So I do that on the side. And then I also work full time in a hospital setting as an ultrasound tech. And I am married to my husband. We've been married for 8 years and we have a cute little puppy dog. And we love any free time that we get to spend together. So this is my mom, Camille. Brooklyn's my sister, and Amanda is my good friend.
I'm Camille, and I'm the mom of two of them and a good friend to Amanda. And I have five girls, and I'm married. And let me see, about 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to compete. So that was the beginning of my journey. And I love competing, but I also love my downtime. And I love that I have learned how to eat healthy and stay on track with my life. To me, that's a really big deal. Because for years I just didn't do that. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start coaching is because I think it's a really big deal to help women and teach them they can be strong through everything and do it. So that's me.
Love that. I'm Coach Amanda, and I came to find Fierce Queen actually as a client first before I became a coach. So it's pretty sweet. I got to see both sides, and I became, as Coach Brooklyn's, one of her clients because I realized after trying all the fad diets, everything out there by myself and with other coaches, there was something like missing, lacking. And it wasn't just physical, it was more mental. Like I realized I needed help with the emotional part of eating, which I feel like a lot of women that come through, that's what they're missing, the support and the guidance that way. Because a lot of times the issue with overeating, undereating, or anything in between is a lot deeper than we see on the surface. So I found that out. And then once I realized how amazing this community of women is, I transformed with my help of my coach to becoming a coach. Now I can pay it forward. I'm married to a wonderful man of 4 years. I have two kitty boos, and I am so happy to be able to help women be seen, heard, and heal on their journey and not just lose weight.
Oh, I
I
love.
love that. I love that, Amanda. That's amazing. We've got a pretty amazing team here of women. We're all different walks of life at this point. Amanda's 44, my mom's 57, Dakota's 29, and I'm 32. I don't know if I gave an intro yet, but I'm again like founder of Fierce Queen Fitness. I got into fitness because I had like PCOS and thyroid issues, and I just was honestly really struggling with just losing weight and keeping it off. I struggled with binge eating, honestly, just struggled with confidence in general and just like feeling good in my skin, but also like confidence in my ability to do things in life. And I feel like fitness and health, and honestly, even competing allowed me and kind of gave me a platform to find myself and find confidence in myself. So, my goal with this podcast is to reach out to other women, whether no matter what walks of life they're in, all women from every age, obviously, like, that's kind of what this podcast says, like, fit and fabulous at any age. Like, no matter your age, like, if you're a woman, like, you deserve to feel confident in your skin. You deserve to love who you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter what's gone on in your life. And yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. So I hope in this live today or in this recording today, we can not only give you some tips of things to do, but we're going to also talk about like our own journeys and what's helped us. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so really what we're talking about today is how we've lost the fat and kept it off every year through the holidays. The holidays are honestly, I think the stats show like the average female gains anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds from Christmas to January 1st. That sucks. Those are some sucky statistics, but that is the reality of it. So really, like, we're on here to help you guys. Like, how do we not, like, make that happen? And how do we go into the holidays without feeling like I can't have anything, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. I mean, we're all perfect people to talk about this because we've all struggled with like binging. um, but I feel like if you're a woman who has done restrictive dieting, you probably at one point struggled with overeating or binge eating because you've been so restrictive. So let's talk about it. I don't know, like how do you guys approach the holidays now versus what you used to do?
So you said that statistic is Christmas to New Year's, or is it
Sorry,
like the
no,
whole month of December?
it's from Halloween,
Thanksgiving.
sorry. Halloween
Yes.
to January 1st, but that's a lot of weight. You
Okay.
think about
Yeah,
that,
no, that's a lot.
that's fast too.
That's yeah, that is a lot. That's crazy.
It's a lot of food. There's a lot of good
There's a
food during
lot
the
of good
holidays.
food, and holiday candy is literally the best kind of candy. It's fresh, the shapes are different, the
Shapes are
Um,
advertising
yeah.
gets me every time.
like, yeah, that Christmas tree does look better.
Yeah, give me that Christmas tree. Okay, so Brooke, sorry, what was the
Yeah, so,
what's
like,
the
what
question?
what do you guys do differently during the holidays than what did you used to do? Let's talk about what we used to do and, like, what changed for us.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time.
And there was Christmas Camille.
Oh, yes, I did have Christmas Camille.
Okay, we're gonna have to share us like we're gonna have to share that, Amanda. You are missing out. I'm gonna send it to you after this call, Amanda. Mom, can I share it? Please. Everybody needs to meet Christmas Camille.
Christmas Camille is pretty cute.
Honestly,
Yeah,
it's you watch it and you're like, wow, that is me. Now
Now I'm dying to know.
you'll love it. I mean,
I
my
recorded
mom's
some things.
just so cute, and so
I
I'll show
recorded
it.
some things. Yeah, I was in my little elf outfit. So, yeah. Um,
We joke in our family. Oh,
I
it's
know.
Christmas Camille.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
Okay, you know what I used to do is honestly, you eat so much junk one night. Like Halloween's a fun night. There's always those days or those nights that you love to eat, and there's lots of good food. And so, to me, what I used to do is I would eat out of control, totally out of control. And I would feel sick. And then I would wake up the next day and be like, I'm just too tired. You have that sugar coma going on. And we really do have diabetes in our family. And so it's more true than not. Yeah, it's
Type
just a
2. It's
sugar
not
thing.
type 1. No, we're
No,
type 2.
where we
It's
created ourselves.
lifestyle
yes,
induced. Yeah.
very, very much so. And I wouldn't go work out. And then I wouldn't go work out the next day. And then you'd be like, okay, I'll start Monday. And Monday would hit and noontime would hit. And you'd be like, I'm so hungry. So
Mm.
it's like it all just kind of starts as this cycle that you go through. And it's something that you've got to get through in your mind that it's okay to eat some treats. And that's something I've worked on through the years. And I feel like I've really dialed it in with the way we track and with the macros. This is the first time in my whole life that I've been able to get through the holidays and be okay. Like I can eat some treats, some really yummy treats, and I'm okay the next day. I get up, I work out, I move, I get my day going just like any other day. And I don't eat myself into oblivion like I used to. And that is something new, but I think it takes a lot of practice too. Like through what we're doing. I mean, it's a very mental thing, and then you work on the physical. And so that does take time. It really does. And you got to have compassion and be okay with it. So
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I love that. I can agree. Since last night was Halloween, and I feel like everybody that has
yummy.
a pulse understands that like Halloween is a fun night to eat candy and popcorn. I am a fan of horror movies. My husband and I love them. So like you can't watch those without popcorn. And normally I feel guilt like before I was like on the journey that I was with Fierce Queen, I would be like restrict, binge. So I wouldn't like eat the candy. And the next day, what would happen? I would like eat all the carbs in the pantry because I restricted. Well, this year, like last year, I allowed myself to have lots of popcorn. I just made sure, I nourished my body correctly throughout the day. So I wasn't starving. I didn't overindulge too much. Had some Reese Pieces, my favorites, and some pumpkin spice hot chocolate with my husband. Woke up today, weight was exactly the same as yesterday. And I was like, right? Because we're always like, oh, the weight's going to go up. And I'm like, not if what you're doing 85, 90% of the time is on par with, like your goals. You can still have those days. So it's a win-win. So I think it's great. And I love that what Camille said about it is something you have to work on. And hence that's why a coach is really helpful because they'll be in your corner. They'll be your inner voice whenever your negative thoughts start to spin out of control because it is easy to do and to get into those habits. And we've all been there personally. We have all struggled with emotional eating, so you can't go wrong with like talking to your coach about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda, I think it's really cool that, you still allowed yourself to have Reese's Pieces, popcorn, you still enjoyed your time with your husband and you guys were able to watch your movie. And your sodium, honestly, your sodium intake might have been even higher, but you woke up the same weight. Like that's so cool. And that goes to show like even you're starting your morning from the get-go, you're like, okay, I have this game plan tonight. I know I'm gonna want these things. So you from the get-go set your day out and maybe you changed up your nutrition what you usually do in like the mornings and for lunch so that they allowed you to enjoy your evening a little bit more and allowed for a little bit more freedom. And did you feel restricted through any of that last night?
No, I
That's
thank you for saying that.
amazing.
Yeah, it's true. Good point that you made because if you have a coach or you have the right plan where you can just understand how you can just pre-plan, you actually aren't losing out. You have the power to have those foods, enjoy
Yeah.
them, and it's a win-win because you're like, well, now I have the freedom to have those foods, like you said, because I just planned my morning a little different, but I still had tons of like yummy foods, lots of protein. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't starving myself. I didn't restrict too much. You just know, switch around some macros and it works. So it's great.
It's awesome. You just gave me chills because I was like, that's such a good feeling when you can hit that point where you feel in control rather than like the food
Absolutely.
controlling you. That's why you gave me chills because I was like, that is so cool. Like you could just hear like how excited you are about
Thank
that
you.
because you've been it takes so much effort to get to that point and holidays are such a hard time. So that is so cool because Halloween candy is good. And so that is just so cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you're right. I think Halloween is like, it's where like Coach Bookham said
On
it
the holiday.
starts. And a point that I think we talked about one of the coaching calls with the Queens is that yes, women can gain a lot of weight between Halloween and New Year's, but it's not inevitable and it's not because of the holidays. It's because what Camille said, like how we start on Halloween, we might
Yeah.
have a few extra treats, and then it continues, and we're like, we say, like the F it mentality because we're just like, we're just gonna keep going, and the next thing you know, you're eating like that for 2 or 3 months, not the few days in between, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Those are such few days of the whole year. You can really enjoy those days and then just get back on track.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's I mean, what mom said, I'm sure anybody who's listening to this, I mean, I would imagine that's most people's mindset. I don't know of anybody who doesn't have this, like and it's not really I always tell my clients, it's not your fault. Like, you've done nothing wrong to have that kind of framing because that's kind of what the diet culture pushes on us. It pushes rigidity and restrictness. And so, of course, you have this, like, I'm either 100% on it and I'm eating clean, like clean foods. Like, I had a client tell me she was bad. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, you were bad? Like, did you kick a dog or something? Like, what was bad? And she's like, well, I had some treats. And I'm like, okay, let's work on your framing around your food. So a lot of us think that, we're either good or bad. But it's like a lot of women struggle with this neutrality around food. It's not only like this like mom said, she's like, "Well, I had treats yesterday, but I'm also going to have treats today." And Amanda said, "I had treats yesterday, but also I can have treats today." Like, that's funny you guys are just telling these stories. I literally said to Jordan last night, I said, "This is the best I've ever done on Halloween." I said, "I think I had, like, 8 pieces of candy, and I don't really want any more, and I'm okay." Like, I was, like, actually, like, "I feel good, I'm done. Can we go to bed now? Like, I'm tired," Like, it wasn't like I had to sit there and just like, stuff my face. And I think a lot of it comes back to like also working on your relationship with food and being aware of your verbiage around food and how you talk about it. And how you talk about being good versus being bad. Like it's not a moral thing to have or an immoral thing to have a freaking piece of candy. Like that doesn't make you a bad person. You're not a murderer. You don't go out and kick animals. Like you're not like I always say that to a client and they're like, I'm bad. I'm like, like really, did you kick a dog? Like, because that would in my mind would be bad. Like that would make you bad. They're like, "No, I would never do that." And I'm like, "Okay, then what was bad?" And they're like, I had a piece of cake." And I'm like, "So you had a piece of cake."
Good, I'm
Like,
glad
that's
you
it.
had the piece of
Yeah,
cake. Thank you. Thank you
yeah,
for having a piece of cake.
that's it.
Like that's
You had a
yeah.
piece of cake. That's it. Like, and I think this is where a lot of women struggle, and this is what we work on in Fierce Queen Fitness, Amanda, Dakota, Mom. And this is where Mom is talking about is she used to like, put foods like good and bad. Or she would be like, I'm really good. I was really bad. But it's like she's kind of found this like neutrality of like,
And it was
I
like
don't,
all or nothing when she was there. I was bad today or I was good today.
yeah. So let's kind of talk about that of like, how can that shift and even like how can we work on that through the holidays? Because I always tell my clients, I'm like, the holidays are a perfect time to work on your relationship with food because it's always there. My neighbors are always bringing shit over to my house. We go to like we're constantly going to like some type of party or gathering or something where there's food. So it's a perfect time to practice your relationship with food. But if you don't have a good baseline and you're always telling yourself like, well, I'm going to be bad tonight or like I was bad yesterday, you're probably always going to be in a cycle of binging and restricting or overeating and restricting. You'll you'll say sorry, you're going to say fuck it. Like fuck it. I'm going to eat it all. And then the next day you'll be like, "Oh, I need to restrict," or "I'll wait till Monday," or "I'm gonna wait till after Thanksgiving." And then next thing you know, it's January 1st, and you're like, "Shit, I'm up 10 pounds."
And the hard thing with that is, when you're in that mindset that night of, fuck it, I'm gonna eat it all. And tomorrow, like it's Monday, then your whole weekend turns into I gotta eat this all now because I'm not going to have it Monday. I'm not going to have anything Monday. I'm going to be
Yeah,
fasting. I'm going to be drinking all my water. I'm going to be eating foods that I don't like. And I think the biggest thing is allowing yourself to have these foods that you're putting off limits. And then, as well as the foods that you are eating that help you reach your goals, your protein sources and stuff like that, make it foods that you enjoy. Don't eat foods that you don't like. If you don't like fish, don't eat fish. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Amen.
it's yeah.
That kinda brings me back to, like, meal plans. Boo. Yeah, boo, boo. Yeah, no, keep going, Coda, because I like that track that you're on. Like, eat the foods you love,
Yeah. Yeah.
period.
Like, okay, for example, I am in prep right now for a competition that I've got coming up. And so, I've got to be pretty strategic and on point day to day. So, literally last night, I came home from work and all day I actually kind of changed up my breakfast and my lunch to, and I still ate foods that kept me full and stuff, but I just kind of changed the way that that looks so that I could have a little bit of candy at night. And I came home and I told Casey's my husband, I was like, I'm gonna eat protein for dinner and candy only. Like, and I of course worked it perfectly into my food plan. And he's like, are you sure you don't want some real food? And I was like, actually, I really do want some real food. And this has taken me years to get to
Yeah.
where I'm at right now. So I actually sat down and I ate my real dinner and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I actually ate some real food first. And then I kind of changed the way that my dinner was going to look. It was going to be like, honestly, pure like sugar. I like saved like I planned and I actually changed the way my dinner looked and I ate more whole foods because that's what I wanted personally, because I have kind of learned to listen to what my body wants. And then I still had some sugar with it. I didn't have all the sugar that I was originally planning, because myself waking up wanted all of that. But then coming home at night, like I've learned how to understand what my body really wants and what's going to make me feel best. And so I adjusted for that. And so it's crazy seeing myself and how I've progressed in the past. Oh my gosh, Brooklyn, what would you even say? How long have you helped me? and like to where I'm at now. Long
I
time.
mean,
I'm 29. When I was
yeah,
like
we
probably
we
like
In
started
18,
college.
when you were in college is when I started helping
18,
you, and we started doing, like, macros and, you
11
know
years, you guys.
yeah.
11 years.
And it wasn't just, like, macros that we started because everybody's like, "Oh, I
No,
do macros," and it's like, you can do macros and still have a
you
bad
can do
relationship with
macros.
food
Yes. You can do macros and be in this yo-yo cycle. I've done that.
because you have to work on it honestly comes down to, like, your relationship with food, like, your verbiage around food, like, getting rid of, like, these, like, toxic, like, good versus bad, like, this is good, this is bad, like,
Healthy. This is not healthy.
learning balance and also, like, learning to listen to your body's cues as well, like, Dakota, you just gave a prime example of that, like, well, mentally, I want sugar all night, but you instead, like, leaned into what your body wanted, "I want whole foods, real food, and I can eat some sugar too, and it's fine."
Yeah. But what's funny about that is literally like, in my mind, I'm like, I want this sugar. But then at the same time, through listening to my body and what it wants, it like all of a sudden I was like, no, even my mindset, I was like, I want real food. Like what a weird thought. I want real food. That's what
Yeah.
my body wanted. That's what my brain ended up wanting too. And then I still had some sugar with it. And guess what? I love, I am a hoe for some pumpkin Reese's.
Mm,
Yes.
And yes, and I
mm,
still had them, and guess what? After it, I was like, that wasn't that good. I'm so glad I had my regular food that I usually eat. Isn't that funny? Because I was listening to my like I was tuning into as I was eating the chocolate, how it was making me feel, how the
yeah.
taste
Yeah.
was. And it literally I was like, "Oh my gosh, who are you? Dakota, you're like a whole new girl." It's such a freeing feeling.
When you have
It's
control over it, it is freeing. It really is.
Mhm.
Dakota, when she was younger, her stomach used to hurt really bad in high school and through college. And so she started learning how to eat balanced, and it has changed her world.
yeah.
But she listens to those cues. And I think it's really important to have treats every day because then you don't ever feel like you're starved for something yummy and you just don't go crazy. I think that's really important.
Well,
So
and
important to keep treats.
with us, mom, like, and I'm not never wanting to hate on you, but also, like, this is kinda how you were raised too. It was like, you're
Yeah,
either, you eat sugar all day long and it's all you eat, and you don't really, like, tune into your body and what it wants, or nothing at all, right? Like, it's very and that's kind of like the diet culture from, like, the '80s and the '90s and
it is.
Mhm.
2000s is like, it's either you're 0 or you're 100%. You're either 0%, like, eating shit all the time and just eating all the garbage, or you're just eating 100% whole foods that taste gross and nasty. So it's like learning to find that balance, like Dakota's talking about this, like, that's a really big deal to get to that point. But I'll tell you, like, as a coach and someone who's coached, like, Dakota to this point, and, like, I've helped a lot of my clients get to this point, it doesn't happen overnight, and you do need help to get you there. And I'll be honest, if you wanna get to your body to a certain place and you wanna sustain that, you have to do this foundational work. It is necessary. I don't think I've ever met a client of mine who hasn't struggled with their relationship with food, because I feel like all women struggle with their relationship with food because we're the ones that are targeted at for dieting and being restrictive, because we're the ones chasing these body composition looks and goals from, like being little, right? Like teenagers. And so what Dakota's talking about is like the gold standard of having a great relationship with food, which is where we've all like been. And I'm not saying we're all perfect at this. Like, we definitely have moments where we like overeat and overconsume and we're like, oops. But the important thing is like learning to, like, lean into these habits and skills, because that's what it is. It's a habit, it's a skill that Dakota has developed. And my mom even, like, my mom didn't wake up looking like this. Dakota didn't wake up looking like this. If you guys saw a picture, I literally have a picture of the three of us from like 10, 12 years ago at Disneyland. I mean, we were all just like, we were so I just remember we would all binge together and we would literally eat until we felt
Yes.
like we were gonna vomit. And it was so normal. And it's funny, me and mom just barely went to Disney for her birthday 2 days ago, and we ate a shit ton. But you know
We
what we
did.
didn't
As
do?
you should.
we didn't eat until we felt sick, and I can't remember a time ever when me and mom have been together, just me and her. Well, when we compete, we're like, I'm saying like, I was thinking back to like 10 years ago, we went to Disney, mom went to Coda. Do you guys remember that trip?
That was,
We ate so much shit. I swear we just ate until we wanted to vomit.
and it was
And
day
this
after day after
day
After
day.
day.
after
Yeah, it went
day.
on.
But
And
then
now,
this last trip with you and me, mom, like we ate and then like I remember like, we would finish like something and we would have like half of it and then we'd be done.
or not even half, like the
That's so
cinnamon roll was
cool.
dry. So
Yeah, and you're
we
like,
even had a
this is even
spoonful.
worth it. Like,
No,
ew,
but
is
the
there a
old
cinnamon roll?
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I was gonna go complain
Sadness.
and be like, you guys suck.
Let me show you how it's done. Get the process.
Mom, I should have put you back there. Put mom to work. Show him how to make a real damn cinnamon roll.
Like there's nothing worse than like when you are like, okay, I'm gonna eat this delicious treat like
I
off my
know,
plan,
right?
and then it's like
This,
disappointment and it's
Gross.
like stale and gross. You're
Yes.
like, well, now the calories are wasted. Like it's just such a disappointment.
That was quite sad. But also me and mom had like a macaroon each before that, so it was fine.
Okay, yum. Those are the best macaroons. They
yeah.
literally, okay. Brooklyn, but what's so cool is that I know that you guys both came home and didn't restrict after.
Mm-mm.
No,
That's the biggest thing. Is you guys
that
still
is,
enjoyed your trip. You guys still ate a little extra and good as you should. You're at Disney. You're there to enjoy it. But you came home and you didn't restrict. And that's taken time. Like that doesn't just happen where you come home
yes.
and you say, I'm not gonna restrict. Like, to come home from a trip and be able to
Yeah.
jump back into your regular routine.
And still eat good and like good foods, and still have a treat then the next day, which
Yeah.
What
is
did
something
we
that,
do, mom? Let's talk about what we did the next day.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
well, we actually, we woke up and we had our oatmeal.
We went on a
Uh,
walk. Remember? We walked to
oh yeah,
Starbucks.
we went on a walk and that was great because we got our body moving. I mean, that's such a crucial mindset. Get moving the next day. Don't like
That's so cool.
lay in bed and feel
Too.
sick. Yeah, girl.
High five Amanda too.
Well, and then we had salmon for lunch, which was super yummy.
That was the best salmon I think I've had in so long. What are you
It
guys
was,
laughing at?
There's a video from when was it? 5
oh
years ago?
yeah. Have you seen salmon?
Salmon burp.
We
You
have a
ever
lot
had a
of silly
salmon
stuff.
burp? They're the worst burp.
I don't think I've ever had a salmon burp, but that sounds
It's just you could taste the salmon in your. This is really gross. I
A
know.
fish burp.
That's what. Yeah. Ew.
Yeah.
Anyways,
was thinking about that salmon, and I was like, "That sounds really good," but then you said salmon burp, and now I don't really want it
that's why I need to.
anymore. That's now,
So
now I'm like
funny.
having some food aversions towards salmon. But mom, we also had. Remember, we had some macaroons.
We found the
Yum.
macaroons that we
That's
loved
macaroons.
last year.
Yeah,
So that was important. And we still had treats. Like that's important to keep up your, we're just from a sugar addiction family and
Oh,
it's something that we have grown up with. And so to have a little bit of that every day
and not all of it.
helps your mindset. I think it really helps you like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going to kill myself. And then you don't binge the next night because
yeah.
you're restricted yourself. But that's something I've had to learn and practice and practice. And I feel like this last year, I've really kind of gotten a hold of that. Like that's,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
always is like, oh my gosh, I'm finally able, I feel like I'm finally getting in control of my, my food cycles.
Well, and
It's
it's
a
not
big
only
deal.
that, it's the emotions that go into it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
for us, food is a very social thing. For most people, it's a social thing. And so with the
Social.
holidays, that's a big thing. And so when you go to these events, being able to navigate that, because that can be very challenging. So maybe we talk about these events, when you go to like a family get together, there's always many, many Christmas meet Santas, whatever. How do we go about those events? Because those
How
can be
many
challenging.
Santas are you meeting in a holiday season, Dakota?
Busy
Kind of
man.
like, hi Santa, it's me.
One thing that I do think is important through the holidays, like I love you guys giggling, is there's so many functions. Like I have pulled back on how busy I am during Christmas time, but there are times in your life that you have lots of activities to go to. And it's like I think it's important to know you can say yes to some of the yummy food sometimes and then have some days that you're like, I really don't want to eat that way then and really eat your good food before, so you don't have to feel like you like some functions you don't want to eat at, and some functions you really do. And I think it's important to learn which ones to go to and eat, and which ones you can pull back and say, I'm not going to eat there as much. I'm really not. I'm going to eat my good food. And you can take your own food there and eat them. And I know I've seen both you girls do that. I'm sure you do too, Amanda. And I just think you learn those things along the way, just because you can't eat at absolutely every function if you're going to like 5 or 6 of them in a month. Well, you could do that, but sometimes you have 2 or
It's
3
just how
times a week.
it's just personal choice if
Yeah,
you want
It's
to.
also, I think, like,
yeah,
depending on your goal too, like, what is your current goal right now? Like, I know for me, like, if I'm close to a show, I will weigh out, like, what's important to me and what's not important. Like, I know if I go home for Thanksgiving, which I for the last 2 years, this is the first Christmas and Thanksgiving that I have not been in prep for, but for the last 2 years, I went home for Thanksgiving to your house, Mom, and you are like a gourmet baker. Like, you are incredibly skilled, and so I knew if I went to your house, I was gonna want a scotcheroo and you were gonna make pumpkin cookies. And so I told myself, I will have a scotcheroo and I will have a pumpkin cookie. And I just owned it. And I just said, I'm gonna have those things. It's gonna be good and it's gonna be great. I'm not gonna sit here and obsess about. But then I know if I go to maybe hopefully none of Jordan's family is listening to this, but if I go to his family's function or something, I don't really love the food that they make because it's not food I love. It's not like sugar. And it's not worth it to me. Like, it's not things that I will eat and be like, this is so yummy. I eat it and I'm like, oh, my stomach hurts because there's like 50 pounds of butter. But when Mom puts 50 pounds of butter in her cookies, I'm like, damn, this is good. So,
Sweet versus savory. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
We're the sweet scouts. I think something that Mom started to touch on that was really cool. She's like, you can say yes or no to different foods. I think another powerful thing through the holidays is understanding that it's okay to keep your boundaries and say yes or no to different events. I
yes.
think
Oh,
that's a
yes.
huge thing.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Amanda, I'd like to hear from you because I know your family's Italian
Mhm.
and
Yum.
you're big foodies.
My uncle was actually a very well-known chef. He travels, he opens up restaurants, he's done like 5-star, 4-star hotels, he's done it all. So when he comes home, and now that he's living back at home, the first few holidays were a little rough as far as trying to stay on my goals because you want to eat all the things. And being Italian, you come from a background where you manja, you eat, you don't nitpick, you don't have small portions, you eat lots of pasta, lots of olive oil, lots of yummy meats and all the carbs. So our plates will look like not just one carb, like 3 types of potatoes, some pasta. So I grew up just thinking that's how you eat. We didn't discuss it. We didn't think it was a problem. It wasn't until I started getting close to my 20s and I realized something's not working the same. I was gaining more weight, especially in the middle, feeling not confident, feeling heavy, weighed down. And honestly, the touch what Coach Dakota said, I'm so excited that you got to that point where you worked on your habit and you're able to your mind's always going to think, okay, I want that sugar. But then you realize your body's like, I really don't want that sugar. I don't want to feel. It's not just about the taste, but how you're going to feel afterward. And I started to tune into that more with my coach, Brooklyn, and Fierce Queen, and being like, just because the food's there, you don't have to eat everything and all of it because I was starting to have more brain fog, fatigue. I got close to perimenopause and I got a lot more bloating and just feeling run down. And I'm like, I'm getting older, but I'm not that old. You shouldn't feel that way. So a lot of the queens that come through, they're having these issues. I have no energy. I'm fatigued. I just have no motivation. I just feel blah. And it's funny because whatever, like Camille said, you have to choose certain functions. Is this really worth it? So when my uncle, I would get together with him, my family, I'm like, yeah, this is worth it. But you can't do that every week. So if you have a bunch of things coming up, like Coach Brooklyn said, choose what food you really want versus just eating it because it's there. So tuning into I start tuning into my emotional and my like overall health and not just this is what I want, because you're going to start to feel like just mentally. And so it's really important to start to tune into that. And a lot of women need help with this. And this is where a coach has its benefit.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
powerful. Amanda, the other thing that you probably do now that you probably don't recognize is when you are like, okay, this is worth it to me, your portion size probably looks
Yes.
different.
Big time. Yeah, I used to be enough. Yeah, I used to be like, it's funny because I don't know if anyone else can relate watching or the queens on here can relate, if you girls can relate. Like, whenever, you start to go to 2 family functions when you first get married and everything, or, start dating, and you're so used to your family. So, where I was used to, like, my mom and grandma would be like, here's 3 helpings of pasta and you eat more and have 8 small meatballs. And that's just how that's how we roll. And then I met my husband's family and they're all like, portions are like this big. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm
Like,
sitting there like
hungry.
eating so slow because I'm like, there's like no food on here. Like this is
Yeah.
normal. And like no one ever really gets seconds except like his uncle. Everybody has like the smallest dessert and they're like full. And I'm like, is this maybe it's just our family that's like, so it's funny because I realized when I start to slow down, a lot of women struggle with this too. Like we start to eat, wow, I was so used to eating fast because we had so much food on our
Yeah,
plate. I
that's
start to
true.
slow down. I'm like, I'm really not that hungry after like eating these portions. Like my body doesn't need that much food. I was just eating so fast that my brain wasn't catch up to my stomach. And it was just like, yeah, I'm hungry. And next thing you know, you're like super sickly full. So I
Yeah,
think
I feel
I
like
like
Yeah.
that.
no, I can relate to that 100%. When I started Jordan's family, my husband, I'm pretty sure he probably came to our family functions. He literally was like, "Do you guys eat real food?" And about, and he goes like meat, and I'm like who eats
Huh?
that? Like, I'm like, my mom made 5 different types of cookies and cinnamon rolls. We don't need that
It's all
shit,
there.
The
Like
5
1
food
gram of
groups.
protein per cookie. You're fine.
And then I go to his family things, and I'm like, "Where's the sugar?"
Yes. Yes. Same with Casey's family. I'm like, I have to take the sweets because sometimes there isn't sweets.
That's so sad.
Yeah, they started making sweets because they after the first few years was like, oh my gosh, where's the sweets? Because they're more of a savory type of family,
That's
and
Jordan.
so yeah, and so they'll do like snacks, like snack foods, like things that you graze on, but not like you know
That's Jordan's
like
family.
sweet sugar
Mm.
stuff, the goods that we love.
I
So
I
Like type
agree.
2 diabetes, like,
yeah,
yeah, like our
no,
family.
none
Uh-huh.
served.
I agree,
Yeah.
Dakota. If I go somewhere there's like no dessert, like at a holiday, I'm like,
No, it's
this
part
is
of it.
Like, are
odd.
you guys okay?
I literally, yeah, it makes me feel quite sad, but I've noticed that like not I don't know, I feel like you've got 2 types of people, like families that are really food focused and families that are not. Jordan's family, although there's like 5 boys in his family, they are really not food focused. Like, and it's so funny because him and all his
Hmm.
brothers are very pretty healthy people and like fit, and they don't have like any weight issues. And then, like, I look at, like, our family, and, like, we all have, like, type
Sugar
2
addicts.
diabetes, and we are food obsessed, like, and it starts at what is it that started, like, great-grandma Kennedy mom or great-grandma Robinson, right, with the cake, the chocolate cake problems?
Yeah, I
Chocolate
mean,
cake.
I
Yeah,
think it's a girl thing also. I think our hormones, we love sweets. It's something in our hormones.
and
We love that
carbs.
sweet.
Give me
Huh?
And then you
carbs.
kind of learn to numb your emotions with that, and
Yeah.
then it like is like this trickling effect
It's really
too.
intrinsic with food. Food is
Yeah.
really for women, I feel like, men are very, they don't connect with food as emotionally.
They
Some
have
men
like
do,
these
but not
boxes.
Yes, they do.
yeah. They can be like, "Oh, that's I can eat sweets," and then like, Jordan's like, "I want a candy bar," and I'll watch him eat a candy bar, and that's all he
Yeah,
eat, and I'll eat a candy bar, and I'm like, "Give me 5 more,"
Right?
like, where women, it's like, we're having a bad day,
it's
and
very hormonal,
yeah, we
a
want
lot
that
of
to,
it.
like, feel better, so
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree 1,000%. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I feel like this is really important for women that I'm sure you girls can relate. Like a lot of clients will come through and be like, I'm having a really emotional tough time right now with personal stuff or work or my husband and I aren't seeing eye to eye, and they turn to food and they're like, I'm feeling very weak. I'm like, you're not weak at all. You're strong. You just need guidance to redirect how to it's a coping thing. So I
It is.
remember
Yes.
whenever I lost my first husband 2016. I remember specifically being I'm a mall girl. I love to shop. I love to get that dopamine rush, get like a new outfit. I was at the mall with my grandma, my baby sister, and we were going down the escalator. And I remember this feeling coming over me like I don't want to be here. Like not there's no joy. Nothing was like it was that was usually like my go-to for stress, and I was like nothing was like doing it. So hence why I start turning to food. It just felt good. I start stuffing my emotions. I gained like 40, around 40 pounds, and I didn't even care. I was just like, whatever. I didn't feel good. My blood pressure was up. I was borderline diabetic, which isn't huge in our family at all. And I just like, that's when it was like, oh my God, something has to go. And I realized that food is so much bigger than just, oh, well, she likes to eat a lot of it. Like, it's so easy for someone to look at someone that's in a bigger body and be like, well, they just need to eat less. And I'm like, I've never thought that way, but now I really don't think that way when I see someone struggling. I'm like, there's probably something going on, whether it's like
Yeah.
trauma or, psychological, like wounds or just something that stems from this is how they've learned to cope and how they feel better. So that's where having a coach that fully understand like your struggles and your challenges and things you're going through. And you don't have to necessarily tell them everything you don't want, but we're here for that. And just be like, it's very deep. A lot of women think, like, I just can't control myself. I can't stop overeating. And I'm like, then you start to get to know them and you're like, well, she's dealing with this and this and this. I'm like, no wonder why you're overeating. That's your outlet. So let's work together and see like, how we can, make food not your only source of comfort. So it's a really big deal.
I love that you brought that up,
Thank you,
Amanda,
Thank you.
Amanda.
because it is emotional for girls. I think we carry the emotions of the family. We are the moms. We deal with everything in our family. We deal with the heartbreaks. And a lot of us women, we will stay up late at night, and that emotional overload will be so hard and so heavy that you will go into the pantry and you'll just eat and eat. Like you said, Amanda, it's the only way you could cope. It's the only way you could get through. And I mean, it's such a real coping mechanism. You don't turn to other things, you will turn to food. And it is important to have somebody that's in your corner that will help listen to you. I remember my first coach that I hired when I went through my anxiety, and the anxiety was from things that was going on in our family. It was very situational. And I remember having her come downstairs into our gym, and she mostly helped me work out. But then there were 2 or 3 times I remember just like vomiting everything we were going through as a family and just crying. And she just listened to me. And she was actually the first one that was able to help me get an edge on my eating because she listened to me. And that's a big skill as a coach to be able to listen. As a friend, you really become their friends. Like you just need a good friend that can listen to you and be like, it's okay. Like we'll figure this out. Like your body will get through it. It's okay. And so yeah, I love that you brought that up. We all go through it. And if you haven't gone through something hard, you will. It's part of life. But
Saying
to
that,
know
but
how
yeah,
to
thanks
get
for sharing your story too, because a lot of women have struggle with anxiety, depression, trauma, and there's such a taboo on it sometimes. We put on Facebook like all our highlights that like no one really puts out. Hey, I'm
the
struggling today
traumas.
mentally, but so many women are. You're not alone. You're listening to this, and yeah, we dial into all of that as coaches, not just actually. We don't talk about what you weigh hardly at all. That's very like, hey, we focus on like your mental, emotional, your social, like everything you're going through, because that's all going to tie into like your habits.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing that. I feel like that's, kind of coming back to the holidays and everything else, like also can bring up some like trauma and some emotions too,
Yeah.
because like, family starts to get together and then next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so triggered. And why am I binge eating now? Like I wasn't doing this a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, I mean, yeah, a lot of us, like, the holidays can trigger a lot of emotional eating because, you're kind of maybe forced to be around people you don't necessarily want to be around. People you're not usually around that might trigger some other things or just the stress of the holidays. So, also, like Amanda said, like, if you're struggling with your relationship with food, stop trying to fix it yourself. Like work with a coach who understands it. Like this is why I love Fierce Queen. Like honestly, this is a big reason why I started this coaching, and Dakota was one of my first coaches I brought on, and I brought her on for a reason, and it's because both me and her struggled with binge eating and emotional eating for a really, really long time. And then Amanda came on. Amanda came on is, Amanda, you were one of my clients for a while. We worked on emotional eating. And then mom, you struggled with emotional eating. And so we've all been there and we've all like been in that spot where you feel so powerless. And food, it's almost like food controls everything. And it's only the only thing that makes you feel better, but that's a really hard place to be at, and, like, if you're listening to this and you're struggling, like, you're not alone. It's okay. Like, a lot of women struggle, but also there is hope and there is a place to overcome it. You just need to work with someone who understands and can not only empathize and sympathize with you, but, like, has the tools in their toolbox to help you overcome it because they've been there. And I will tell you, like, when you start making those steps and those strides towards having different skills to cope, like for me, that was it. I used to use food. I remember when Brecken was an infant and I would end up in the pantry and I would eat like a whole bag of like bread. And I don't even really like bread's not like it was just because I was stressed out and I was overwhelmed. And I finally got to a point, I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I actually gained weight after I like lost some weight and then I gained like 20 pounds after I had them. And it was because I kept binge eating. And so then that's when I really started to dive into my relationship with food even more. And I had to find different coping skills. Yeah, so let's kind of talk about that. Like, Dakota, I mean, we've all been through it. And so I feel like we're the perfect people to talk about this. What changed for you to stop turning to food emotionally and help you kind of overcome this, and how this can help other women?
You know, I would so I there's been different times in my life where I've had to like revisit this, right? It's not a one and done. It's something you have to
Yeah.
continuously work out. And
Yeah.
even like when I started tracking macros and like kind of understanding like how to eat balance, like I still would have times where I would find myself binging. And one of the times that sticks out the most to me every time that I talk about binging is, it's after even I was working with Brooklyn. It was while I was going through my schooling, and nothing was more stressful. Like, that was such a stressful time of my life, and nobody, like, understood the amount of stress that that was. But I would get home from my clinicals from my schooling at the end of my week. It would be, like, Thursday or Friday, and, and I would just binge all weekend. All weekend. We would go to the store, and I'd literally buy bags of M&Ms, cookies, like, and I would buy the off-brands because we did not have a lot of money, and I would eat all of it and literally like straight into the trash. And then like, I'd be like, okay, start Monday. I was sick of feeling so shitty. I was just so sick of it. But I had to hit a point of where I recognized that I was doing it. And because as somebody who's competed previously, and then I got back into that binging space, I had to recognize, oh my gosh, my relationship with food is screwed again. Like, and I had to revisit that. So I had to recognize I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm sick of binging. I'm sick of being in this yo-yo cycle. So I actually reached back out to Brooklyn and I was like, Brooklyn, you probably don't even remember this. I was like, I'm going through all this right now. Like, I can't get a handle of anything. Anyways, so then like slowly started working through all that again. And it took me recognizing that it was going on and me telling myself, okay, I am not restricting myself through my week. I have got to figure out a way to where I can still eat this food. And then on top of that, figure out outlets. And so then when I started to feel this way, when I would get to my weekends, because it would be literally like 3, 4 days in a row where I would just go so hard and I'd feel so crappy, where I would have to find these outlets. And so, simple things for me as somebody who is so, so busy, taking a bath, going on a walk, even just communicating with my husband and being like, this is how I'm feeling and I don't know what to do about it. Even just talking about it and getting it out there was huge for me. And I had to hit a point to where I took accountability and being like, oh my gosh, here I am once again. I've got to relearn this. And that was wow. Yeah, it's been a journey.
I think that's important, Dakota, though, to like be honest about too, because I've also been there where I've had to. I feel like every setback I've had with my relationship with food, I've gotten better, like it's improvement. But I have to remember and revisit the things that initially helped me. And this is like, it is important to have someone like you can talk to, you can lean on and help you through these things because, like you talked about, Dakota, like sometimes it's a really humbling experience because it's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not perfect, like, I'm not great at this all the time, but I need to continuously work on it." Like, if you've al it's kind of like I always say, if you're a foodie, if food has been a problem for you, it's probably something you're always gonna continuously have to stay on top of and work on, and not, like, just let it slide and slip because, for you too, it was finding different coping skills. Like, a lot of women, they think, like I always ask my clients, this is always funny. I'm like, "So what are you doing for stress management?" They're like, "Well, I get a massage, and I get my hair done, I get my nails done." I'm like, "That's not stress management. You are not managing your stress through that. You're pampering yourself. That's you pampering yourself. What are you doing for active stress management? Absolutely nothing. So, of course, when you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you're emotionally tapped, you're gonna turn to food. So other things you can do, Dakota mentioned taking a bath. I love that. That's one for me. Like Jordan's like, "You took 4 baths today." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really fucking stressed." Yeah.
Yeah, that should be your cue.
Yeah.
Go draw me another one.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Getting outside, going for walks. Like, what are some other things you guys do? We always give these to our clients. These are things we give to our clients and we call them, what do we call them? It's like, what
It's
is it
stress
called, Amanda?
management, breath work, what,
Yeah, stress
Breath work?
can
techniques. I
I
call them
okay,
stress
Yeah.
techniques.
so I know I've kind of talked about go ahead, Amanda.
I say I personally love sunshine, like love
Sunshine, yeah.
sunshine. Like I'm from East Coast, so we don't typically get a lot of it, but this year we've been very blessed. Whoever's from East Coast will know summer has been like so sunny, and there's something to say about women going through perimenopause, menopause, just having anxiety, depression issues. The sunlight is such a great feeling when you're walking in it, and then add some good, put your buds in, add some good music, and you're getting your movement in, your vitamin D, and your mental health will just lift. Like something small like that, what Brooklyn or Dakota said, like whatever is your, your favorite go-to path or, you know, something besides food because it's gonna serve you overall, not just like mentally.
Yeah, it's yeah, habit before it starts. So like for me, I and honestly calling myself out has been huge for me. I'm such a weirdo. I still do it. I was literally at my girlfriend's house yesterday and I opened up like a king size candy bar and I started eating it. And I literally right in the middle of eating it, I wasn't even like really enjoying it and I literally was like, "What are you doing, Brooklyn?" And I realized I was just kind of feeling a little tired, and I know I started my period today. I think I was just feeling, like, a little tired and crappy, and I probably just needed to go to sleep, but I literally just, like, catching myself too and being like, "What are you doing, Brooklyn? Like, why?" And it's not like a, "What the fuck are you doing, Brooklyn?" It's like, "What are you doing? Why
Just
are you doing
checking back
this?"
in with yourself.
Yeah, and, like, asking myself why, and I find myself in the pantry sometimes because I work from home, and I will find myself in the pantry, and I'll start snacking on something, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Honestly, I think I'm just tired. And then I'll go maybe lay down, or maybe I'm hungry. Okay, I'm going to go eat something, or I'm feeling stressed out. Okay, I'm going to go take a bath, or I'm going to go sit in the sun, or I'm going to go on a walk. Like, I think, like, too, part of like emotional eating is also being honest and open and talking to yourself. I know it sounds so weird. Jordan probably hears me talking to myself in the pantry and he's like, "She's talking to herself again." He's like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "Myself, talking to me." So, yeah, I love that about emotional eating. I guess, like, for a lot of women during this time of year too, that's a real also, like, I think sometimes I always tell my clients, like, if you're, like, doing a lot of family things, having a like, just paying attention to when you're feeling emotionally tapped out and your battery is really, really drained. Because if not, you might start eating just to fill that battery, right? Or to feel better if you're feeling anxious. I know if I'm around family for like too long, especially certain like personalities, I start to feel really anxious and overwhelmed and I will start to eat to almost fill the anxiety. It's an anxiety eating. Do you guys do that ever?
Oh yeah.
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 I
Like,
couldn't agree more. Like sometimes I've noticed I'm anxious in social situations, especially with sometimes like a lot of family, even though like you enjoy it, you just feel anxious. So I don't know if you girls can all relate, like you'll just like pick up something and you're just eating because you're doing something with your hands, your mouth, you're not like it's a
because
distraction.
it's
So now I find
there.
myself, right? I'll grab like a drink and keep it in my hand, like water or like a Diet Dr. Pepper, and just keep sipping that.
Yeah, these are really
Yeah,
important.
see, perfect. I'll have to try
They
those. Those look
really
so good.
are.
You guys are so cute. You all have the same. I've never tried that. I have to try it. But just sipping it.
You haven't? That's so
No,
sad, Amanda.
just sipping
Well,
it.
next time, go find yourself some, and then we'll just start drinking these
Oh,
during
I
our
love it.
podcast.
But yeah, that is like perfect because if you need something like, if you're not a smoker, like I've never smoked, nothing against, but like I notice like it's like an anxiety thing, a hand and mouth. So like eating it for most women is too. But if you have like a drink and you're just like sitting there, you're anxious, your hands are busy, you're not eating. So it's
Yeah.
actually really helpful.
Yeah,
I
I
will
like that.
actually
I like that a lot.
I will actually put gum in if I've ate too much or if I
Oh,
know
I
I'm
like
kind of on the
that.
brink, just because I've got to have something in my mouth. I have a busy mouth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do.
That's my mom.
Sorry, guys. We're a little pervy.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I do
That was
think it's
helpful,
important.
Mom.
I do think it's important that you I know sometimes you are around family and you just have to get your mind in a good headspace again and remember the good things about you. I've talked about this before, but I do love going to the gym. I like talking to certain people, certain friends that remind me good things about myself. I do love music. Music is a very big deal for me. It always puts me in a good headspace. And I think we all have those things that we do when we just need those feel good moments and to remember who we are again, because we do get around people that can trigger certain feelings. Oh, yes. So there's lots of coping skills that you will learn about yourself as you start coaching or start
Just
figuring out
taking
how
your
to.
journey, yeah.
Oh, it's such a journey. Like it takes so much practice, so much practice, and you just have
And
to be
continuous work.
patient with yourself.
Yeah, you're
I
not
love
gonna
Yeah.
get
that.
there overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we've kind of all touched on this, but when you do get around family, it I actually read this study. I don't know how accurate it is, okay? Don't quote me on any of this. But I like kind of hit home to me because it said when you go home for the holidays, you're back around your siblings, your parents, it reverts you back into who
Mhm.
you were as a child and how you dealt with things then. You kind of revert. And so you have to bring that person who has grown, you have to remember to keep that person with you through
Yeah.
that because you revert and all those old ways that you dealt with that stress and all that stuff, it comes back. And I catch myself in those
Yeah.
instances. And, and I find myself, in that headspace that I was in when everybody lived at home. And that was, I've grown so much since then. I've become like growing so much, confidence and grown so much as a person and, my drive and how I attack problems. I've grown so much. And when I go home, like, love you guys, love our whole family. But
Yeah.
when everybody gets together, I find myself in that. So, like the time, Brooklyn mentioned this, the time that she spends, she has to kind of set limits on that and boundaries. And it's so important to keep that so that you keep yourself within these challenging times.
It can
Yeah.
make you feel bad.
Thank you for sharing. I love that. It makes sense when you go home. You kind of like
You
divert.
revert.
We're like, yeah, you
Yeah.
revert back to
Yeah.
like that person. That's true. That makes so much sense. Like why you step in your mom's kitchen, you're like, I want all the treats.
I
Food.
literally will go back home to mom and dad's house, and during the holidays especially, and for whatever reason, I will be in the pantry, and because your guys'
For
pantry has
no
so much
reason at
shit.
all. Oh my
Honestly, you guys
gosh.
how you have so much shit in your pantry. But it's like, I will just start eating, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like, and I realize I'm like, "Yeah, this is how I used to deal with all of my stress." This is like anytime that even there's like a little tiff with someone in the family, like, you know, I'll go into the pantry and I'll deal with it that way. But then I realize I'm like, okay, no, Brooklyn, you're 32 now. You're not like 15 years old. Like you can go on a walk. Like you can go take a deep breath. Like you can go take a bath. Like there are other skills and things you can do. So also like taking a break too, setting boundaries, like, having boundaries with like family, like get-togethers, having boundaries with, being like I always tell my husband if we go do family stuff, I'm like, okay, we always have like a 3-day limit. And then we always have like a like 6-hour limit if we're at someone's house. Because if not, I start getting really bitchy and I'll be honest, I will start eating. I will feel drained the next day. I'm not able to coach my clients at the level I want to coach them at. I start performing poorly in all areas of my life. I'm a mean mom. I become a mean mom. So, like, setting boundaries too. And honestly, like, if you are stuck in a family situation and you're feeling emotionally triggered, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a minute and just be like, go sit in your car, go sit in the bathroom by yourself, take 5 minutes and just calm your body down. So then that way you're not like fist deep into the cinnamon rolls. And next thing you know, you're like, I don't know what the fuck happened. You'll feel it. You'll feel your body feeling anxious during those times. And I feel like a lot of women during the holidays, sure, the relationship with food needs to be worked on, right? We need to work on the verbiage. But then we have the emotional side of overeating. And that's also like tuning into your body too. Like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. And I'll be honest, certain times of the month for me too. Like if I'm close to my period and I'm in my luteal phase and I'm around a lot of people that are really triggering for me, I'm going to struggle with some binge eating. So I have to also be aware of like, oh, that's right, my period's going to start in 5 days. I need to make sure I have some boundaries and I have extra space in my day so I'm not constantly pouring out. I feel like people with anxiety have that problem. We need to recharge ourselves just because I find people with anxiety, the reason why is because they're empathetic people. The problem with empathetic people is we care so much what people are saying. We're actually listening. We're not just like they're talking and we're like, la la la. Oh yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. We're actually listening to what they're saying. And so we care about the people we're around. So that means you also need to like take time to like, I don't know, pour back into yourself so you can recover and not feel this urge to stuff your face anxiously. So,
Yeah, well
yeah.
I
said. I
think,
love that.
yeah,
I
love
think
that.
that's huge with the holidays, especially can cause a lot of joy, but also a lot of anxiety and a lot of the unknown what the conversation's going to be like when everybody's in the same room or just different things that, like Dakota said, might things triggers or trauma might come up or just, anything. And it's easy to get back in those old habits because that's what helped then. But when you think about it, like, does it really help? Because, like, how does it make you feel afterward? But it's easy to get back there. So I love
Yeah.
that Brooklyn said to take, take a step back. It's okay to say yes, but not yes to everything all the time. Or maybe just say, hey, I'll make it to that function, but like, we're going to leave after like this time and just tell them ahead of time and be like nothing personal. Or if you really want to say, hey, we got somewhere to go, but just be honest with your family. Be like, I just need time to recuperate before the next activity.
Yeah. I had to do that. My husband's family, he's had 2 brothers get married here where
That's
we
right.
live in the last, like, 3 months. It's just been a lot of family time, and this last wedding, like, it was just a lot. Like, it was, like, an all-day thing, and it was, like, from, like, early in the morning to, like, late at night, and then the day before there was something, and the day before there was something, and I was just like I finally, like it was the night of the wedding, and I didn't go to, like, half of the events because I was like, I still have work. Like, I still have responsibilities. Like, can't just go to all these things. And luckily, my husband's awesome. He didn't like guilt me or anything. But I literally just went to my mother in law and I just said, I'm going to leave at this time. I won't be here. Jordan's going to stay with Brecken, but I just need to go home. Like, she's like, I understand. Luckily, she's so sweet. She didn't guilt me at all. But like, sometimes just like setting a boundary and putting it there and just leaving it there and not giving an explanation, that's okay too.
Yeah. No is a full,
I
like
know.
you taught us, Brooklyn. No is a full sentence.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I
hard
like that.
to do sometimes, but it's true. You don't have to explain yourself. You're not feeling it. You can just say, hey, I'm going to go home and, we'll get together whenever.
Yeah. Well, as mom, the one who gets everybody that comes to your house, everybody wants to visit, share how you navigate all this because
Oh,
it's all at your house. Like I can
Yeah,
leave,
you're really good for this
leave.
one.
yeah,
I
she
can
does get a
step
leave.
out. Like I get to leave. I get to go home to my own bed. So share your
Well,
side.
it's been a journey because I used to do it all. I used to do it all. I used to be there for everybody. I did all the cooking. I did all the cleaning. I did everything. I was always there hosting. And then I went through my anxiety, and that taught me how to do things different because I couldn't. And when I was going through my anxiety, I actually disappeared into my bedroom and I couldn't handle the noise. I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it. And that's when I had to learn to do things differently. And so it is okay to disappear for a while. It's okay to go to your bedroom. It's okay to go for a drive. I remember even disappearing on one of my daughters and I just I couldn't. And I disappeared out the garage and I went for a drive. You just can't do it sometimes. So it's okay. It's okay to go to the mall. It's okay to go shopping to boost yourself up. Like shopping does help. And sometimes you really do have to do a little bit of that. Like sometimes we schedule things as girls, we go get our toes done just to give us a break from the whole family. And we don't try to do everything all the time together because I think that's just a lot for everybody. So we'll try to schedule different times, but it is important to know you can disappear for a while because if not, you will just drown. So that's how I've learned to do things. And I still do disappear sometimes. And Dakota will disappear into a bedroom with me when people are there and we will turn on a movie and just de-stress. I know Brooklyn does that when people go to her home, and Amanda, you probably do. It's like you just learn what you have to do to get through it, and it's okay. It's probably good for the other people that are there because they get a break too. It's just a lot.
Also, I think that's really good, like, self-awareness too, because if you keep pushing yourself to the point of, like, anxiety, you're gonna lose your shit on someone, you're gonna say something you
Yes.
regret, like,
Yes.
something's gonna come out that is not necessarily what you want to come out, right? And
And you
so, I
can't
think,
take
like,
back
that's
words.
yeah, so sometimes it's important to just kind of like, okay, I feel like that's also a part of like stress management. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel like I'm going to scream at everybody right now. I'm gonna go take a minute to chill. So then that way I don't say something that will hurt everybody or, the people that are triggering me right now. So I think that's also important. Like during the holidays, like even if you're not at your own house, like I know I end up being at like my husband's grandma's house or when I go to your guys' house, mom and dad, even though your guys' house is quite big, dad's voice is like I can hear it from the basement and he's all the way in the top floor. Sometimes I have to go like sit in my car or like I don't know, we'll go get our nails done. Something. So just I think like bringing awareness too of like where you're at and then just, like, checking in with yourself too. Because if not, that's when you end up finding yourself in the brownies and you're like, "Shit, I just ate a whole half pan of brownies. What happened?" You kinda like your brain shuts off because 'cause you're trying to feel the anxiety, right?
Yeah, you like almost black out, like you're like mindlessly eating. You're
You're
not
like,
even tasting it. You're just like,
"Yeah,
then you're
Yeah.
like, then you're like, well, and that's when a lot of women that don't have a coach or don't have that support just keep going the day after day. So it's really like, again, not just the holidays. It's if you continue it the whole time, that's the problem.
amen." I really like the ending of this because I think this is, like, very honest and true and real, you know? The holidays are complex. So, I guess, like, at the end of the day, like, how do we not gain weight at the end of the holidays? Mom, Dakota, are you guys still there?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
I don't see them.
That's so weird.
Oh, you
We're
can see them.
about
Okay.
Oh, you can see us. We're about to lose battery, so maybe
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. So at the end of the day, just to sum it up, how do we maintain or still reach our goals through the holidays while eating cookies? Number one, you have to work on your relationship with food. And don't start doing this come January 1st. That's honestly the shittiest time to do it because guess what? January 1st, everybody's hyper focused on their health. Why not learn how to do it through the holidays? It is like prime time because if you can I always tell my clients if you can do this through the holidays, you're going to freaking kick ass the next year. Because this is like if you can do this, you can do it next year. And then the next year and the next year and you've proven to yourself you can do it whenever. So number 1, work on your relationship with food. What is number 2? Like bring awareness to your stress and your coping skills or your lack thereof. Do you only use food to help you deal with stress? If the case is yes, then think about other things that make you feel good, right? For me, I live in a cold place, so it's not always like getting out and doing things. Sometimes it's literally me just, yeah, going to like Target and walking around, right? Going shopping, whatever, even if it's at the little grocery store, right? What else did we discuss?
Find the right support. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have anybody you can like turn to when you're so you're not using food as your only coping mechanism. Like, maybe you should start looking for somebody like that really understands like Fierce Queen, because we've all dealt with those very deep emotional issues with that binge eating.
Yeah, 100%. Work with a coach, work with someone who understands. And this is where, with Fierce Queen Fitness, we're so different is we actually talk to our clients like one on one. We don't just like overwhelm our rosters with clients. Like we take on our clients and we treat our clients as an individual and we help them one on one and we talk to our clients because I mean, how else are we supposed to impact? Anything else you wanted to add, Amanda, Dakota, or Mom?
I think you recapped it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay,
Yeah, I love it. I think that's
perfect.
perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for this podcast. This was really good. I hope this is helpful for those who are watching this. Comment below your favorite holiday treats and what you love to eat. And if you're interested in coaching, comment below coach. One of us will reach out to you and, let's chat. But if nothing else, I hope that you guys found this helpful for you today. Again, like we're all coaches on here. Amanda, Dakota, my mom, me. We've been through it. Like obviously we're talking about it right now. So yeah, we'll hop on next Monday. So again, every Monday, be dropping a live a podcast for you guys. And yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.